All right, my friends, I am back for our read aloud on Blood on the River. When we last left off, the boys have decided that they're going to go back to the holiday house because they want their 31 years back. And they're concerned about Lulu, and also they don't want future kids to have to go through this. So they've decided they're going to go back. So it's chapter 16, and the title is Back to the Happy Land. Here's the picture, or the drawing. Here we go. It was if the house knew they were coming back and was calling to them. As soon as they stepped out into the street, their feet seemed to know the way. All they had to do was to let them lead. What do we do when we get there? Wendell wanted to know. I mean, we just escaped with our lives. Mrs. Griffin will help us, Harvey said. Wendell's breath quickened. Suppose Karna bit her head off, he said. Then we'll have to do it alone. Do what? Find Hood? But you told me he's dead. I don't think being dead means much to a creature like him, Harvey said. He's in the house somewhere, Wendell, and we have to hunt him down, whether we like it or not. He's the one who stole all those years with our mums and dads, and we won't get them back until we face him. You make it sound easy, Wendell said. The whole house is a box of tricks, Harvey reminded him. The seasons, the presents, they're all illusions. We have to hold on to that. Harvey, look. Wendell pointed ahead of them. Harvey knew the street at a glance. 33 days ago, he stood here with Rictus and listened to that tempter tell him what a fine place lay on the other side of the mist wall up ahead. Tempter. Think of the word tempt. Tempter. This is it, Harvey said. It was strange, but he didn't feel afraid. He even thought he knew they were walking back into the enemy's arms. It was better to face Hood and his illusions now than spend the rest of his life wondering about Lulu and mourning the years they had lost. Are you ready? He asked Wendell. Before we go, his friend replied, can we just get one thing straight? If the house is all illusions, then how come we felt the cold? And how come I got fat from eating Mrs. Griffin's pies? And I don't know, Harvey cut in. Doubt running a cold finger up his spine. I can't explain Hood's magic, how Miss Hood's magic works. All I know is he took all those years away to feed himself. Feed? Yeah, like a vampire. This was the first time Harvey had thought of Hood that way. But it instinctively seemed right. Blood was life, and life was what Hood fed upon. He was a vampire, sure enough. Maybe a king amongst vampires. So shouldn't we have a steak or holy water? Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. Or something? That's just in stories, Harvey said. But if he comes after us, we fight. Fight with what? Harvey shrugged. The truth was, he didn't know. But he was sure that crosses and prayers weren't going to be any use in the battle that lay ahead. No more talk, he said to Wendell. If you don't want to come, then don't. I didn't say that. Good, said Harvey, and starts toward the mist. Wendell followed on his heels, and just as Harvey stepped into the wall, he snatched a hold of his friend's sleeve so they would enter as they exited together. The mist closed around them like a waterlogged blanket, pressing so hard against their faces, Harvey half thought it intended to smother them. But it was only wished to keep them from changing their minds. A moment later, a tremor moved through its folds and spat them out on the other side. It was high summer in Hood's kingdom, the lazy season. The sun, which had been hidden by the rain clouds on the other side of the mist, was beaming down on the house and all that was around it. The trees swayed in the balmy breeze. The doors and the windows of the house, its porch and its chimneys, all gleamed as if it was freshly painted. There were welcoming songs in the caves, welcoming smells from the kitchen, welcoming laughter through the open door. Welcome! Everybody, welcome! I'd forgotten, Wendell murmured. Forgotten what? How beautiful it is. Don't trust it, Harvey said. It's an illusion. Remember? All of it. Wendell didn't reply, but wandered away towards the trees. The honey breeze gusted around him as if to pluck him up. He didn't resist, but went where it led, into the dapple shade. Wendell, Harvey said, following him across the lawn, we've got to stick together. I had forgotten about the treehouse, Wendell said dreamingly, staring up into the canopy. We had so much fun up there, remember? No, said Harvey, determined not to let this past distraction keep him from his mission. No, I don't remember. Yes, you do, said Wendell, smiling from ear to ear. We worked so hard up there. I'm going up to see how it looks. Harvey grabbed his arm. No, you're not. Yes, I am, he snapped back, wrenching his arm from Harvey's grip. I can do whatever I want. You don't owe me. Harvey could see by the glazed look in Wendell's eyes that the house was already working its seductive magic. It could only be a matter of time, he knew, before his own powers of resistance were worn away. And what then? Would he forget his work here entirely and become an empty-headed boy, laughing like a loon while his soul was sucked away? No, he said aloud, I am not going to let you do it. Do what? Said Wendell. We've got work to do, Harvey told him. Who cares? Wendell replied. I do. And so did you 5 minutes ago. Remember what it did to us, Wendell? The wind in the trees seemed to sigh at this. Ah, it said, as if now it understood Harvey's purpose here and would waft this intelligence to the ears of Mr. Hood. Harvey didn't care. In fact, he was pleased. Go on, he said, as the gust flew towards the house. Tell him! Tell him! He turned on Wendell. Are you coming, he said, or am I going to go in alone? I don't mind going in, Wendell said cheerily. I'm hungry. Harvey stared hard at Wendell. Don't you remember anything we said out there? He demanded. Of course I do, Wendell replied. We said we were going to... He paused, frowning. We were going to... This place is stolen time that belongs to us, Wendell. How did it do that? Said Wendell, still frowning deeply. It just... Again he faltered, searching for the words. Just such a perfect day. The frown began to fade again, and a broad smile replaced it. Who cares? Wendell said. I mean, on a day like this, who cares? Let's just enjoy ourselves. Harvey shook his head. He was losing precious time here, which was exactly what Hood and the house wanted. Instead of wasting any further words on Wendell, he turned on his heel and headed towards the front door. Wait for me, Wendell yelled. Can you smell that pie? Harvey could and wished he could put some food in his belly before he started out on his adventure. Knowing that these tantalizing smells were all part of Hood's repertoire wasn't enough to stop his mouth from watering or his stomach from grumbling. All he could do was think of the dust to which his ark animals had turned when he stepped out into the street. The pie on the kitchen table was probably made of some bitter stuff concealed beneath a sham of sweetness. He held on to that thought as best he could, knowing that the house into which he was about to step would be full of such banishments. With Wendell again trailing a step behind, he climbed the porch steps and marched into the house. The moment they were both inside, the door slammed behind them. Harvey reeled around, his skin crawling. It was not the wind that had thrown the door shut. It was Rictus. Oh, it's getting so good. You're going to have to wait, though.